So you basically see what we're moving towards. Now imagine beings coming here like these, the Naturu, in ancient times, that had abilities that were mind-blowing abilities, but they may have been integrated with technology. There's a student at Harvard University that came up with this machine, this invention that he just puts over his head like a headset, but it touches the bone right behind his ear. And by that method, he's able to hear sounds from this. So he sends his thought light wave directly into this device that's not injected, not through any operation, just resting on his head with a piece on his bone. And he's able to ask it questions. And that link, that headset, is connected to Google. And he asks any question you want to ask. And it will then look it up on Google and it will transmit the answer right through the bone, right to his mind. And
you don't even hear nothing audible?
Can't hear nothing audible. Yeah. And then everybody would think that that's what? God. This guy's a God. He knows everything. He can tell you anything. He can answer any questions. He's God. So you go to another planet with that kind of capability, with a less advanced civilization, you're a God. You know everything. You know, the all-seeing eye. The movie that I'm working on, the documentary I'm working on called The Black Knight Satellite Untold Story, it has to do with that Black Knight satellite that's in space right now above our heads. It's been there for 13,000 years. It was part of Enki's all-seeing eye system. He had the capability of seeing everything, everywhere. He was omnipotent and omniscient because of technology, not because he had any kind of special powers other than what hominid, you know, God-given powers already are, metaphysically. He had technology. These beings had a lot of technology. They talk about crystal tablets. They talk about scanning planets. Before we go to the next one, the pyramid, the Great Pyramid at Giza, is the exact height of the average landmass on the planet Earth. Okay, think about that for a second. It's the exact height of the average landmass on the planet Earth. To get that information, you have to take something up above the highest level of landmass, most likely into space. And then you have to do something very interesting. You can't get the landmass of a planet by orbiting its equator. This is something that I learned in aerospace, even when I was small. You cannot get the total landmass of a planet by orbiting the equator. In other words, you have a planet, you usually have satellites going around the equator, right? You can't get the landmass. To get the landmass of the Earth, you have to orbit the planet like this. And as you're orbiting the planet like this, the planet is spinning on its axis. And as it's spinning on its axis, you're taking swaths of video or images, and then once it makes a full rotation, the computer stitches those images together, and now you have the topography of the whole planet. So, in ancient times, at some point before the Great Pyramid was built, in my opinion, there was a satellite that was able to go into a North Pole orbit, that's an orbit like this, and get the entire topography of the entire planet to calculate the height of landmass on the planet, and then to say, okay, I'm going to build the Great Pyramid as a marker to let people know we know what the average height is of landmass on this entire planet. Another thing that's incredible is they built the Great Pyramid directly at the center of landmass on the planet. The center of, not the center of the planet, the center of landmass. Again, you've got to take that same scan, that same topography scan, and analyze where all the mass of the land is on this planet, and find the pinpoint the exact center of landmass. Not an easy thing to do. Just a lot of things like that that really make you scratch your head and go, wow, it's really, really incredible. The location of the Grand Gallery leading up to the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid is the latitude of the same exact digits of the speed of light in meters per second. And people go, wait a minute, meters per second? They didn't discover that until 1960, whatever. No. If you go into Proto-Sumerian text, you discover that they discovered Proto-Sumerian meters, metric system, and it was actually discovered, in Mexico. Long ways away from Egypt, because why? Global civilization. So they discovered these Sumerian tablets, what they call Proto-Sumerian or Pre-Sumerian, that had a complete accurate record of the metric system 7,000 years ago. and it's in museums. It's not that I trust Wikipedia all the time, but it's even on Wikipedia. I mean, it's well-known information. It's just that's what I'm trying to say. It's well-known, but the metric system was not recently invented. It was just rediscovered. Or maybe this guy found these tablets and said, "I'm going to copy this and make $1 million right quick," and they did it. As above, so below. The reason why this picture is so powerful is because you see the mending or the merging that's happening from some of the stuff I just told you and showed you with the digital and the spiritual, the consciousness and the technological. You see the two are starting to merge. The problem with this, there's a lot of benefits to it, but there's also a lot of downside to it. The benefits of it could be people who are in wheelchairs now become free from that chair. People who have certain disabilities can maneuver around their house and turn lights off, turn lights on, maybe even drive cars, whatever. All different types of things that can be done when you access this type of technology. But also, like I said before, yin and yang. Just like the force can be used for good, the force can also be used for bad. And until we take back control of this planet, things like the technologies you saw will always be turned into a military type of a project, and unfortunately used to eradicate people. So we have to be very mindful of the technologies that we develop, and we have to understand that some of these technologies will help people, will help civilians, but at the same time could damage a lot of other people in other parts of the world as well. A scientist observing an atom is actually a group of atoms observing itself. And that's all we all are. We're just a reformulation of atoms in a different format, analyzing and trying to feel our way through this matrix and understand and learn it. Literally, that's exactly what it is. The universe literally has this energy flowing through it, which then coalesces into stars, and stars then explode and create heavier elements. And some of these elements collide and form molecules and so forth. And next thing you know, you have an avatar walking around named Billy Carson, trying to figure out what happened. How did all this happen? And analyzing it from a perspective down here, and still then transmitting all the answers that I'm getting back to the source. And the source is getting this information. It's like one of the analogies that I use a lot. The brain is encased in complete darkness. It doesn't know anything going on out there. Nothing. The brain knows nothing. What it does, it sends its friends out. Hearing, smelling, sight, smell, touch, or feel, all the different senses. It says, hey, go out there and find out what's going on for me. Those senses go out and grab information. They themselves can't decipher the information at all. They have no clue what they're getting. They say, hey man, I got this stuff for you. Here's this digital information about what we captured out there. I don't know what it means, but you can figure it out. They give it to the brain figures it all out, and then projects a hologram on what's going on, and you navigate through the matrix based on that hologram. That's what brought you here even today. A holographic vision coming from inside of you to navigate to this place based off of information that you never touched, smelled, saw, or felt. You got data from another source and then came up with the idea of what to do. Okay? So if you look at a brainstem and look at the universe below, a lot of you have probably seen this, you see the same thing. If you zoom out of the universe, it looks like a gigantic brain cell. So we're most likely living inside of a living being, a living entity. The Earth itself, I believe, is also a living conscious being. Planets and moons, they've created enough connectivity to obtain, to me, a certain level of consciousness, a certain level of sentience. And I believe that planets and moons, and so did the ancients, they talk about it all the time. Matter of fact, in the Enuma Elish, which predates the information going into the book of Going Forth by Day, the Enuma Elish talks about the creation of the solar system, and it talks about the planets as if they were real living people that were having love, making love and going to war and having fights and communicating with each other and getting lonely and everything else. The ancients knew all about this as above, so below, and the fact that these planets are properly conscious. As a matter of fact, I believe the planet is so conscious and so alive that these oil wells, I've been researching them for the last 5 years now. An oil well will go dry, and then, miraculously, 5 years, 10 years, sometimes 20 years later, there's oil again. I think that oil is like an amniotic fluid, like the blood of the earth itself. I think that the planet is creating oil. I don't believe anymore that dinosaurs died, and because of that, they died, their bones became oil. And ancient trees collapsed on top of each other, and because of that, we got all this oil on the planet. I don't believe it anymore. Now I believe that oil is the blood of the earth, just like a lot of these raw minerals are inside of the earth and being created by earth. I think diamonds and all these other things are being created by the planet itself through its own geological forces, and also the energy sources that are coming from within the planet, which we're going to look at as a little bit as well, creating some of these gems.
So this research is about alternative ways of storing data, digital data, for archival purposes with DNA.
The initial thought was, I don't care what I'm building, and so why don't we just build Moby Dick or something? I'll just encode it into DNA, and we'll just build that because I don't want to worry about the design at this point in time.
Sri and I debated what we should encode, what would nicely represent the digital universe, and we wanted something that represented sort of modern digital. So we used an HTML version of a book that I wrote recently called Regenesis. The HTML form, let's say the web form, includes images, digital images. It includes JavaScript programming language that actually does perform something interactively with a person. And so we encoded that into zeros and ones and then into DNA.
We started thinking about, based on some prior work, of thinking about DNA as a source of...
So it's replay. So, like you've heard me say before, DNA is a storage medium. It stores a lot of data. They've increased it significantly now. Now it's 433 petabytes of data you can store in 1 gram of DNA. So the human body is literally a gigantic USB hard drive. Every single thing that's happening subconsciously and consciously is being stored in your DNA. Every thought you think, everything that you're going through, it's all in there. All of your ancestors' information is inside of your DNA. All the epigenetic memories from 20 generations ago is inside of your body. And so this is one of the reasons why it's very important to reprogram. And this is part of the reprogramming process and understanding this, because a lot of the ancient tortures and ailments and situations that happened, 3, 4, 5, 10 generations ago, you could be suffering from that right now. You could be like, why am I depressed? Why do I have PTSD? Why am I sick? Why am I ill? Why, all these things? Why am I thinking this way? It may not be you thinking that way directly. It could be memories, ancient remnants of memories stored in your DNA that are coming back up to the surface again. The struggle is very real. And the only way to fix this problem is to reprogram. How do you reprogram your DNA? You reprogram your DNA by learning, researching, loving yourself, looking within, eating the right types of foods, exercise, saying positive affirmations. All of those things will help you reprogram your DNA and help you find a way. A study was actually done that if you say something positive 3 times a day out loud to yourself, about yourself, for 21 days, you literally, that little bit will reprogram your DNA right there, that little tiny bit. That's a real scientific study, look it up. So imagine we're consistently working on ourselves and consistently trying to change ourselves. Hi, I'm Billy Carson, researcher, speaker, and best-selling author of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets and Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. I'm inviting you to join me on forbiddenknowledge.tv to enjoy hours of great programming, learn the secrets of ancient Egypt, unexplained structures on the moon and Mars, financial literacy, holistic and healthy lifestyles. Go now to forbiddenknowledge.tv and get 3 days free. While there, you can enter to win a Rolls Royce. That's forbiddenknowledge.tv. You are watching Forbidden Knowledge TV. Hi, my name is Billy Carson, and I'm the president of Forbidden Knowledge. We have an amazing investment opportunity here for anyone who wants to buy shares in Forbidden Knowledge. The money that's generated from this crowdfunding platform is going to be used to bring on a new content acquisitions partner. We're going to hire a new in-house graphics designer, a social media manager, put together a customer service team and a customer service management program that will organize and satisfy all the different legs of Forbidden Knowledge Inc., as well as, and of course, make more improved high quality streaming content for the Forbidden Knowledge TV platform, which right now is featured on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, iOS and Android apps, and also, of course, the web. The streaming platform is a year old right now and doing very, very well. And we're looking for your support where you can not only be a conscious customer, but also be a part owner in an amazing opportunity that includes streaming TV, book publishing, and e-commerce. Grow with us and earn with us. Forbidden Knowledge Inc.